Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, great millstone, peace and blessings to the whole full elect. Just going to get into a quick lesson real quick. I haven't had this lesson for a while. I decided to go ahead and get it on out. Nothing too serious. But we're going to start because I'm going to throw these extra verses in here before I get into the actual verses that I had. This is Jeremiah 5:21 says, "Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, said the Lord Yahweh. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it." All right. And really what we want from there is where it says here, where it says, "Fear ye not me," all right, said the Lord Yahweh. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into the actual scriptures, which we're gonna go over to Exodus. And this is actually I mean, I don't have to go into all the in-depth, but like when I take my time out, and pray to myself, this is what I envision. Okay, I actually sit down and envision the Lord and his throne, and his glory or whatever. And this is what inspired the lesson. All right, what I actually envision. I block everything out and I envision the Lord on his throne as I pray to myself. Okay, so we're going to go to Exodus chapter 19. All right, and this is Moses on Sinai, and we're going to start from the top. It says, "In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai." And we already know who the children of Israel are that came out of the land of Egypt. That's the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, one family of people. It says, "For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob." You see, going back to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, known as the 12 tribes of Israel. And though the so-called white man tries to, make a disconnect there and separate us as a people and so on and so forth, we're one nation of people. We're not different nations, different tribes, or different people, period. All right, we are one family. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are one family, and we are the Israelites, okay? The 12 tribes of Israel. All right, it says, "Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself." And this is going back to how he had Moses constantly going back to Pharaoh. What did he say? "Let my people go, that they may serve me." And Moses finally achieved that for the Lord, okay? Because the Lord gave Moses spiritual power through that staff, all right? "I gave you the power to do what you knew was necessary," okay? And he eventually brought them to a certain place, all right? Which is where the Lord wanted us to be in the first place. Verse 5 says, "Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine." Deuteronomy 7:6. All right, a very go-to verse. I use that verse often, okay? And then we are that peculiar treasure. It was special unto the Lord, okay? We've been chosen out of all the 18 nations on this earth. We have been chosen to be his family, really. Verse 6 says, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." And that's another precept going along with Deuteronomy 7:6. 1 Peter 2:9. All right, a nation of kings and priests. I brought you out of this darkness into his marvelous light. All right. Verse 7 says, "And Moses came and called for the elders of the camp." I'm sorry. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. All right, let's read it one more time, kind of botched it up. It says, "And Moses came and called for the elders of the people." Okay. It says, "And laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded them." So the elder from each of the tribe, which more than likely was just one. So probably 12 elders. I mean, it could have possibly been multiple, but more than likely one elder from each of the 12 tribes. Okay, but we don't have to get into that. That's a whole nother thing. Verse 8 says, and all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh had spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. All right. That's us entering into, pretty much a covenant, a promise. All right. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And matter of fact, let's go and grab this right here. Let's grab thick cloud, see if we can get anything out of it. Which verse was it? Here we go. Thick cloud. Well, it's separated, but cloud. See what cloud says. All right. We got Ainan here. Ainan. It says cloud, cloudy, cloud mass. Cloud mass, the Theophanic cloud. All right. Basically, just that, so to speak, sort of like the earthly presence of the Lord. Like it talks about how the how is it worded? Where the train of the Lord's filled the temple or something like that. Just, roughly paraphrasing verses, But basically, just how a cloud on the earth, which a cloud on the earth is basically fog, all right? But how fog would be, okay? Or steam, or however you want to envision it, okay? That's how the Lord, he came down in that particular mass, all right? It says, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. Okay, sanctify. We know what sanctify means, but we'll get it for the sake of this lesson. All right, sanctify. And look what the word says. Let's grab it here. You see, Quadash. All right, it says to consecrate, sanctify, prepare, dedicate, be hallowed, be holy, be sanctified, be separate. All right, to be set apart, be consecrated. All right, so on and so forth. It says tabooed, to show oneself sacred or majestic, to be honored, be treated as sacred. All right, it's going to sort of different, because we weren't being glorified or majestical right here. But anyways, all right, we see sanctified, being separate, being holy, being set apart. All right, consecrate yourselves. It says, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day, Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai, and thou shalt say, in fact, let's see what I've looked to that word before. Let's just grab it. Sinai. All right. Sayania. I think that's right. Sayania. Okay. Which means thorny. All right. It says the mountain where Moses received the law from Yahweh, located at the southern end of Sinai Peninsula, between the horns of the Red Sea. Exact site unknown. Yeah, that site is known. All right. Blue letter is going off on that, but the site is known, which we're not getting into right now. You can actually research that for yourself, fairly easy to figure out. It says, and be ready against the third day, for the third day to Yahweh. For the third day, the Lord Yahweh will come down in the sight of all people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds up unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. And that was the whole purpose of bounds. And I guess we'll grab bounds since we, talking about that. The Lord had to set a border, okay? All right, and that word is a gabal in the Hebrew. All right, it just says to bound, border. All right. Basically, he set up a perimeter. All right, that's a better word to use. He set up a perimeter. You can't come past here. All right. The Lord was on his his landmine mode. Okay. If you come past this certain perimeter that I want to have Moses set up, That's it for you. All right, you through. Ain't no talking. You done for. All right. He says that you shall be surely put to death. Verse 13 says, there shall not an hand touch of it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. And that's kind of makes me curious when it says shot through. What were they going to be hit by, the laser beam? You know, kind of makes you think. But let's see what it says here. Yara in the Hebrew. It says to throw, shoot, cast, pour. I mean, hey, he probably could have even shot a rock through you, a boulder, come crush it. Well, maybe a boulder's really big, but I'm, kind of like using rocks as a bullet. Who knows? All right, the Lord has an unimaginable and just what's the word? I can't even. There is no word I can think. His power is, it has no end. That's the best way I can say it. Okay, he do anything, right? And it says, but he shall be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. And when Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes, and he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. All right. So no sex, just like, it's often talked about from time to time, not having sex on the Sabbath day, or not having sex the day before that you go to camp, stuff like that. All right, have your mind, ready for the Lord. Okay, even as you pray, before you pray, I mean, I don't exactly want to say sanctify, but in that sense of thinking, cleanse yourself as in way, your thoughts. Know what it is you're coming to the altar for. That's the best way I can put it. All right, don't just come, to the Lord and you're gonna randomly ask him things as they come to mind. Be prepared, before the Lord. Okay, and this, like I said, this is kind of what fueled this lesson. I've had it, but and we'll get to what it is that I'm talking about. What I actually envision the Lord when I pray. I do my thing, and I envision the Lord. Okay. And it says, and he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Like we read in Jeremiah 5 and 22, I believe. Fear ye not me, right? Though that verse was, going into something else, but, just the sheer fear of the Lord, all right? The Israelites wanted to go and have words with the Lord, all right? They didn't want to go through Moses. They got arrogant where they wanted to overstep Moses, okay? And so, all right, let's go. Sanctify yourselves 3 days, all right? And you're gonna have your chance. You're gonna sit down at this little assembly right now. It's the third day. There's no backing out of it, all right? And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all people that was in the camp trembled. And I'm curious if this word cloud is going to the same cloud that we got just a few minutes ago. Okay, so it says Ainan, same word. Yep, cloudy, cloud mass. Okay, now so let's go back. Verse 17 says, and Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with power, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. All right, on the, or just grab it. Why not? We've been grabbing words, might as well grab this as well. What we have here, I'm still practicing, so hey, it's okay. We don't get it. Trying to get it to close. Hey, if it was just the straight paleo, I don't know exactly what it says, but I still practice my Syrian or whatever, trying to get better at it. But anyways, it says lower, lowest. All right, the lower parts. All right, the nether end. Basically, they couldn't come up where Moses was. All right, or more importantly, where the Lord was. Okay, they had to stay past the boundary, the perimeter that Moses set up. All right, and any of your cattle or whatever, it could be the smallest lamb or the biggest goat, whatever you had, the Lord was going to put it to death, including you. It could have been your 2-year-old. All right, the Lord was going to put it to death. All right. It says, and Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with the Most High, Yahweh, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. All right, verse 18 says, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire. All right, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So the Lord came down on his chariot. All right, he came down. And so let's grab this over here. Where we want to go? Where is it? Going all past it. All right, here we go. All right, we want to go to Ezekiel, the first chapter. We're just going to grab a few verses here and there. All right. All right, Ezekiel 1, and we're going to grab 4. It says, and I looked and beheld a whirlwind came out of the north, which is symbolizing the chariot, okay? And, majority of times when you see whirlwind, it's talking about a chariot, okay? It says, behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. You see, cloud also, this cloud might be different, but we'll see, okay? And I guess we can grab whirlwind as well. All right, so I-9 is the same word. We don't have to look into it. So let's grab whirlwind. I mean, to grab 7307 with us. Okay, we'll grab both of them. All right, whirlwind. Sayar. Or Sayir. It's okay. It says tempest, storm, whirlwind, tempest. All right. Now, let's, matter of fact, let's grab this root word. Or was that the other word? I don't think it was. It might be. We'll see. All right. To storm, rage, stormy, growing storm. To be enraged, storm away. All right. So let's go back. Let's grab this H7307 for whirlwind. That's interesting. It says ruach. Let me see here. It says wind, which is, rakah, is the wind, spirit, all right, breath, mind, breath, wind of heaven, okay, breath of air, spirit as that which breathes quickly in animation or agitation, spirit, animation, vivacity, vigor, all right, spirit, disposition. Okay, so let's go back. It says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. And once again, this is talking about a chariot, all right? A great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, kind of like they showed you on the Independence movie, the first one, all right? When in the beginning scenes, when the huge spaceship showed up, and everybody stopped, people crashing and just stepping out of their cars, is everybody's paying attention to what was going on up in the skies, and you see it. And then you saw the ship come out of the clouds. And you saw clouds, unfolding itself. And then you also saw fire with it, all right? Similar, But what do you think Esau got that from, all right? They got it from the scriptures. It says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. A chariot came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, all right? Let's grab amber. See if we can get you a visual here. And that's not the word. Well, Hashmal. It says a shining substance, amber or electrum or bronze. All right, so it didn't give us the color. Maybe I can Google punch it for you. Which is a beautiful color, almost like a fire orange or whatever. I really don't. Almost sort of similar to my button over there, but different color. Let's see if we can grab images here. You see? There we go. Like I said, it's almost similar to my button. All right, look at that beautiful color. Beautiful. All right, amber. All right. Look, this one right here actually looks like a fire at the top right. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. It almost looks like a fireball, right? So let's go back. Amber, hard, translucent, fossilized resin produced by extinct coniferous trees or tertiary period, typically yellowish in color. All right. There's a little orange and yellow element to it, but you know, it is what it is. But all right, so now you have that visual, okay? So you know what amber is. All right, it says, and the brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. All right, now we're gonna slide down here to verse 22. It says, and the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth stretched forth over their heads above. All right, so it's talking about it's hard to really explain, but kind of like we have a firmament above the earth. This is over because we didn't read all, because I didn't want to read everything through, you know, talk about the the angels and their appearance and their vehicles, you know, how they travel and stuff. Because once you read that, you actually get a better understanding of this particular verse. All right, but we want to really move on. After reading that, it says, upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. All right, and we might get something out of crystal. We'll see. If not, we'll just continue on. Okay. And see what we can get here. Frost, ice crystal frost of night. So basically, almost like the floor of it, okay? You know, but it was see-through. Like I said, it's hard to explain unless you can, visualize it, all right? Or if I had like pictures or whatever for you, may be able to visualize it better. But anyways, we're going to jump down to 25, and it reads, and there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads, when they stood and had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. Another beautiful stone, all right? You got amber. All right, we just saw what amber was like. It might tell us, but we're going to visit. And I love, because blue is my favorite color, man. And lapis lazuli. You see that? Oh, man. They won't let me Google it, okay? Well, sapphire, yeah, we can Google punch that. Lapis lazuli is like this bluish tone. It's a wonderful color. Like I said, blue is my favorite color. So, here we go. All right, there we go. You see that sapphire? You see that beautiful tone on both these, left and right, whatever. All right, and I can't wait till I get my book as what is it called? The Gemstones of the World. Because I love stones, man, and I love, I'm a visual person, so those colors, it would be a very interesting book for me to look at, as far as the stones. It's talking about all the stones of the world. That's just, personal. Man, I almost want to see if I can punch it in for you, which is, it's similar as well. Let me, going all right, what was I trying to do? Actually, I don't want to define it. You got me doing everything except for what I want to do. This thing is moving slow. Delete. Okay, hold on. Let me, all right, there we go. Let's try this. There it is. All right, so it's very similar to what we were looking at, okay? Very similar. These are images, but hey, you see it. You see the beautiful tone. To Steven Universe, I know that because my niece and nephews used to watch that. They had a lot of talking about crystals in that cartoon and stuff. Look at this. This is beautiful. How it goes to the picture. All right, you see that? It's beautiful, man. It looks like looking out in space or something. All right, so let's see if we can get back here. We just did 1,000 things. He's going to back me up into it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it says, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. All right, a throne. So it's telling you that the throne he was sitting on was this color. All right, a lapis lazuli. sapphire, or beautiful color. Okay. It says, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And who was that? I wonder. Verse 27 says, and I saw as the color of amber, and we just got amber, right? As the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. All right. And I talked about this once before, like Marvel stealing that Human Torch, or from the Heavenly Father. His appearance. We just talked about it. That same fiery, beautiful amber tone. It just says from his appearance upward and downward, from his loins upwards and downwards. His whole entire body looked like this. Okay, beautiful. Not saying that's his actual image, but this is just what Ezekiel was giving us a very vivid, beautiful vision here. All right, because we really would ultimately not know exactly how the Lord looks should he decide to reveal himself to us. Okay, it says, and I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud. Woo-hoo! We know what that is. That beautiful rainbow that the Lord set up for a covenant that to all flesh, people, animals alike, that he will not flood this earth again. He said this was the appearance around him, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, you see. So was the appearance of the brightness round about. So you got this beautiful amber color. Then you got this wonderful sapphire, lapis lazuli color throne. Then you got this aura around him, right? This rainbow aura. I mean, my goodness, man. And this, excuse me, this is what, when I get down to pray, this is what I envision. What's read here in Ezekiel, all right? So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Yahweh. You see that? That beautiful rainbow that is just resonating around him, right? It says, and when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. All right, that's beautiful, right? You're getting that visual, beautiful visual, right? So let's go back then. Exodus 19. All right, I'm going to get back over to Exodus 19, and we're going to pick back up where we left off, which is verse 18, and it reads, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. You see, this is why that great chariot that the Lord rides on. And we could have got a better visual of the chariot if we read the other verses, going into those four beasts and so on and so forth. All right, but it's okay. Which you can read on your own time, Ezekiel, the first chapter. Wonderful chapter. All right. It says, verse 19 says, and when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And Yahweh called Moses up to the mount, up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And Yahweh said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yahweh to gaze, and many of them perish. He was double checking, like, all right, I told you to set the perimeter, set the boundary, right? Now I'm telling you for a second time. I always say this, right? The Lord always tells you something twice. He tells you something one time, and if he tells you again, how serious do you think he is? All right, because once he meant it, twice he's very serious. Okay, all right, double check your people, Moses, because I don't want to have to put anyone to death today. All right. Now we're going to jump over here to Exodus. All right, 33. Okay. And we're going to come back and finish this off. All right, Exodus 33 and 20. And it reads, and he said, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. You see that? I'm telling you, Moses, get your people, double check them, make sure not an animal, not an insect, no baby, no one better come past those boundaries that I have set up. And if they do, I'm going to put them to death. And he said, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Okay. And this also was the Lord talking to Moses. All right, if you read that particular account right now, but we're gonna go back. All right, to Exodus 19th chapter, so we can finish this off. And that was the Moses seeing the Lord. He asked to see the Lord, and he showed him his backward parts, his back parts. All right. Exodus 19:21. It reads, and Yahweh said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yahweh to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priest also, which can't come near to Yahweh, sanctify themselves, lest Yahweh break forth upon them, all right, and kill them as well. Okay, the priest even. So what more than the other people, the commoners? It says, and Moses said unto Yahweh, the people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. And Yahweh said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priest and the people break through to come up unto the Lord Yahweh, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. You see, no man can see my face and live. Okay, and this is what, which there's a couple of points that you can point out from this, quick lesson here. But what I on my own personal, what I take from it, is the vision of the throne. Okay, when I get down and do my prayers, that's what I envision, the whole throne of the Lord. All right, I close my eyes and I envision the Lord. I block everything else out. Okay, but yeah, I mean, pretty much, beautiful vision. The same thing, that was seen here, or similar thing that was seen here in Exodus 19 chapter. On top of Mount Sinai, which is still burned today at the top of that mountain. Okay, which is in I believe it's called Jabal al-Lawz. Okay, over there in I almost want to say it's Saudi Arabia. If I'm correct, you have to double check that source though. But yeah, and that mountain is still burned today, Mount Sinai, on the top of it, because the Lord descended upon it. And we see his in Ezekiel the first chapter, we saw that wonderful throne. Okay, and the Lord rise in style himself, that chariot, that beautiful throne. Just envision that for a second. The amber color, the lapis lazuli, because that's that fire yellow orange tone. Then you got that blue tone, which are complementary colors to one another. Then you got that whole vibrant rainbow. Oh man, just beautiful, man. I love it, man. I love it. It's what made me constantly think about it. I was like, I gotta, though it's not typical lesson, it's beautiful just to envision it. So Lord willing, you actually able to envision that. All right, not saying you do what I do, when I pray. I'm just saying this is what brought this to mind for me, But just envisioning that throne is a beautiful sight if you can, truly set yourself to have that vision. So Lord willing, you edify to next time. That's right. Like I said, Shalom.